Hello everybody, this is Beaning again. This time this is a personal request from a user called Lordamonthedestroyer. Apparently, I'm sorry if this is going back into the Naruto debate, but this is something I've actually wanted to do. Is where people keep talking about Dante, and I'm a very big fan of the Devil May Cry series. I've played all four of them, and I've beaten the first and last one on Dante Must Die. Um, I know what Dante is able to do story-wise, and a lot of people are talking about how Dante is weak or some. Well, some people either say Dante is extremely weak and that Naruto will kill him, and then there's extreme fanboys that seem to think that Dante can beat God. I'm trying to come somewhere in between because I don't know, either he's being severely underestimated or he's being severely overestimated. Now, like I said, I'm a fan. I actually, personally, Dante is my absolute favorite hero of all time. I look up to this guy. I think he is awesome, funny, always in command, very smart, and nice. But let me explain what some of the controversy is about. In the first game, you start out as Dante, somewhere in the middle of the series, because some of the timelines is kind of confusing. But the main boss is this guy called Mundus, who's basically a demon overlord. He was apparently able to completely overthrow the demonic realm and take control of it with his own power. Dante's father, Sparta, the original legendary Dark Knight, sealed away the demonic realm and stopped the rebellion by sealing away his own powers, and then gave birth to Dante and his twin brother Virgil. Virgil's talked about a bit in the first one. He's really important in the third one, and he's not talked about pretty much any other time. They made a passing reference in 4, but they never really said his name. Now, basically, Mundus had a lot of power. He could apparently put his mind anywhere and could watch over... Well, actually, he could only watch over his servants. I don't know. His powers were kind of a mystery, but it was implied that he can spin life to a degree, because there's Trish, who becomes like a bad guy later in the game. And Trish was fashioned after Dante's mother, and he apparently tried to kill her, and Dante was pissed off about this because she was basically invented just to mess with his mind. And he's like, well, if you need a mother, I can create it as many times as you like. And Mundus thought of himself very highly. So apparently, people think that Mundus is a god, and that he exists everywhere, and that because Dante kicked the crap out of him in the game, that Dante could beat anyone. I also want to talk about a move called Jackpot. It's kind of like it was never really called Jackpot, it was just kind of a joke. Essentially, at the end of the game, you have to fight Mundus like a third time, but the third time is really easy. And what happens is that Dante takes his two handmade guns, Ebony and Ivory, and Trish adds her lightning power into it, and then he does Devil Trigger with Trish's lightning ability, and then just says, Jackpot. Well, she says, it looks like we have a winner, he says, Jackpot. And fires both guns into this big energy beam, and that did a lot of damage and sent Mundus back to the demonic realm. He also did this in Devil May Cry 3 with his brother Virgil, where Virgil picked up one of the guns, Dante held up another one, and Virgil says, you remember what we used to always say when we were kids? Jackpot. Bam. Shoots the last boss in that game was so unimpressive, I don't even remember what he was called. The game was amazingly fun, but I don't even care about the last boss, really. But basically, Jackpot was kind of this super energy shot from the two guns that was used with Devil Trigger and some other power-up. Apparently, some people think that this move sends you to another dimension or nullifies your existence. Well, sorry, but at the end of the first Devil May Cry, I did this, and he shot Mundus with it, and he says, this is not over, I will return. And Dante just said, oh, bye. And when you do come back, give my regards to my son, will you? He pretty much acknowledges that this is not going to completely annihilate him. It is very powerful, and it looks really cool, but what it actually does isn't really explained. Just because Mundus went back to the demonic realm doesn't mean that was the pure effect of the gun. It could be that he just really severely kicked the living hell out of him and made him have to retreat. Or maybe it requires energy for demons to exist in the other world, and he just went back because he ran out of power. In any case, the Jackpot isn't really used very often. It was only used at the very end of 2 of the games. So I'm kind of tired of everyone saying that it's this ridiculous attack. In terms of his actual combat ability, Dante is really good. By, I believe, Devil May Cry 4, they did say that Dante's mastery over close and long range fighting did make him stronger than his father Sparta, which is why he's the new legendary Dark Knight Dante. Now, one thing that's cool about him is his tolerance for pain is incredible. This was seen in the first Devil May Cry when he got the lightning devil arm Alistair, which, as anyone that's played it, and it's shown in this video, is a sword with these crazy wing attachments. When he finds the sword, he finds that it's alive, it comes out of the wall, impales him, and pins him to the floor. And then he stands up through the sword, and the whole blade, including the crazy wing hilt, go through his chest, bleeding everywhere. He immediately grabs the sword and begins working it out, firing electricity to destroy the window of the glass above him, and just takes the weapon and starts using it. He also gets a weapon called the Ifrit, which are these flaming gauntlets and greaves. Yeah, they're on fire all the time, and they slap themselves onto his hands and feet, and it burns him. And then he's just kind of cool with it and just goes along and immediately starts fighting enemies. He has an extremely high tolerance for pain. He was also impaled right before the fight with Mundus. In Devil May Cry 4, at the tutorial, Nero puts him on the floor, starts wailing on him with his devil fist, which actually cracks the stone floor beneath him, punches him in the face over and over and over and over again, throws him against the wall, picks up his own sword, the Rebellion, which he was using, I believe, from either 2 or 3 upwards, impins him to the wall with his own sword. Then Dante just says, "Oh, you're getting better. I would even go so far as to say I underestimated your abilities." Pries himself off the wall, falls about I don't know, 20 feet. I don't care. Gets up with a sword still through his chest, pulls it out, grins, and just looks at Nero like, "Oh, that was interesting." He's also shown to be incredibly intelligent in being able to hit the weak point of an enemy and figure out their fighting strategy very fast. And in number 3 and 4, they focus on these styles. 3 took place before 1, so it's implied that he could do this earlier. The one I'm kind of interested in is his trickster style, where he can actually teleport. There's Quicksilver that was really more only in 3, where he could actually stop time, and it was shown when rocks were falling on his head. He froze time, looked at the debris falling on him, poked it with his finger, and it moved upwards, walked away, and then the rocks crashed to the floor. And he could do this at any time. He also, when he fought his brother Virgil, he took out his 2 guns, started shooting at him. Virgil spun the swords around, caught the bullets out of the air, flicked them back, and they went really fast. Dante took 1 slash of his sword and cut all of the bullets out of the air, and they exploded behind him. He had also been shot point blank by Lady, the chick with the 2 different colored eyes. He caught her from falling off of a gigantic tower. She then shoots him point blank in the face, and he was just mildly irritated. Like, it shocked him, and he let go of her. But he just said, "What the hell was that for? Here I am trying to save you, and you thank me by shooting me?" And she shoots, that was in the forehead. Then she shoots him again, and he catches the bullet in his teeth, spits it out, and just says, "Oh, fine, whatever, I'm leaving." Walks away, picks the bullet out of his forehead, flicks it away, just didn't care. He's like, "Oh, I never had much luck with women." So we've established that being shot in the head point blank has, like, no effect. He's been impaled and could keep fighting. And trust me, if you see the last fight with Mundus in Devil May Cry 1, he can do a lot more. He can shoot lightning and fireballs out of his hand, he can survive being burned, he can survive being slashed up, he can survive falling off a ridiculous cliff. Actually, he jumped off the 10-minute Gru in Devil May Cry 3 after he got Devil Trigger for the first time, ran down, and just started killing demons on his way down, threw his sword, impaled a bunch of them, shot the sword, ran, caught up with the sword to the point where the friction was actually making his hands glow red, catches it, and was fine. In Devil May Cry 4, he also threw a sword a great distance, and then shot about 4 bullets, each bullet stacked on top of each other, and hit the exact end of the Yamato exactly dead on, while he was falling. So he's insanely accurate. He's shown to be very strong by being able to punch statues and turning it to dust. Also, with the Gilgamesh, like it's on the picture right now, he also cut up a freaking stone wall into just... Oh, crap, I'm running out of time. I'll continue this in the next rant. This has been Beaning, and I'm out of time for now. Bye.